Hey guys, in this recipe we'll be making Parmesan couscous with broccoli and kale. I had an idea and I wanted to try it out before my upcoming trip. Keep watching to see how it turned out. For this recipe you'll need extra virgin olive oil, kale, broccoli, onion, some couscous, and some Parmesan. I used the free packets. As far as measurements go, you'll need equal parts couscous and water. I measured out about 6 ounces of water and about the same volume of couscous. It made an abundant amount of couscous. I'd probably go down to about 5 or 4 ounces if I did it just for myself again. The idea that I had was to use the coffee press as a steam basket. I screwed it on upside down so that it creates a little bit more of a cup. Put the broccoli onto the coffee press and then place it over your gently boiling water. Be really careful not to burn yourself. While the broccoli is steaming, use this time to prep the rest of your vegetables. If I was camping, I'd be using pearl onions instead. Pearl onions are great because they're small and they don't weigh very much, and they don't smell until you cut them. In case you were wondering, the reason that I'm trying this out is because I'm not a big coffee drinker. I like it occasionally, and I felt like I couldn't justify bringing along this coffee press if I wasn't going to use it. So this was a great secondary use for it. It ended up working perfectly. After a couple of minutes, I had perfectly cooked broccoli. I'm looking forward to trying some other vegetables out, like asparagus or zucchini. If you have any trouble with the blender staying up while the vegetables are in the coffee press, try a small rubber band or an O-ring, and that should help. Before moving on to the next step, I just wanted to make sure that my broccoli was where I wanted it. Since it was, I went ahead and added the broccoli to the couscous. The couscous isn't cooked yet, we're going to be adding the hot water shortly, but I figured it would be a good place for it so that it would stay warm. Once the water came back to a boil, I went ahead and added it to the couscous. The couscous just needs to absorb the hot water, and it's done. That's the great thing about couscous. Pour in the hot water, and then cover it with the lid and set it aside. It'll need to sit for about 5 minutes to fully absorb all of the water. While the couscous rests, go ahead and saute the rest of your vegetables. Add in some olive oil into the JETBOIL and your onions. You'll want to saute those until they're slightly softer and fragrant. If you're planning on adding turkey jerky or any type of protein, this would be a good time to do it. I had a couple of pieces of turkey that I wanted to use, so I went ahead and added them to the recipe. If you wanted to use turkey jerky, it will work just fine. All you need is a little bit of extra water and some additional cooking time so that the turkey jerky softens. Once everything is heated through, go ahead and add in the kale. The kale only needs a couple of minutes to cook. Once the kale has wilted, just turn off the heat. For the couscous, you'll want to fluff it with a fork. To make it easier, I went ahead and removed the broccoli and just threw it into the pot with everything else. If it looks like I'm struggling with this couscous, I am. It's perfectly cooked, but my fork is so flimsy. Bring a real fork, none of this plastic stuff. While you're fluffing the couscous, go ahead and add in your Parmesan, that way it gets well incorporated. Once it's thoroughly mixed, you can add in the rest of the couscous into the pot and eat it right out of the pot. Overall, I thought the recipe came out great. The broccoli was perfectly cooked and the onions and kale were a nice addition as well. The Parmesan added all the salt that I needed, so I didn't really need any additional salt. You're probably thinking that all of my coffee is going to taste like broccoli now, but really and truly, the press doesn't smell anything like broccoli. It doesn't seem to retain any odors. Really, the only changes I would make would be adjusting the amount of couscous that I made and bringing a sturdier fork so that I could really dig in and fluff it up. This recipe was really fun to make. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.